Thank you for tuning into The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic, which is: do black employees respect white managers more than black managers? Okay, so there are all sorts of jobs. You have the independent workers, where a person works for a corporation but hardly sees their fellow employees or their manager. One example would be that of a truck driver. They may dispatch, they may call in, they may see them once, a week or so, but it's not direct contact in the same building, for each and every shift. But other jobs where everyone works in the same building, such as restaurant work, corporate building jobs, human resource jobs, healthcare, medical, et cetera, et cetera. Does it seem like black employees show more respect to white managers? And if so, why? Generally speaking, so this is not everyone, but generally speaking, it seems like white people have a harder time taking orders or command from a person that is non-white. So this is someone that may be black, or, someone that's non-white, and feel more comfortable taking criticism, correction from someone who is white. And sometimes I believe, like I said, they have more of a problem taking orders from a black person. And I think sometimes, on the floor at work, it's designed that way so that this is them having that privilege of superiority. So they don't have to do as much what a black manager, even if they are, up, on the upper ladder, corporate ladder than them, because it just creates that superiority, that they're allowed to have, on the workplace, and they feel more comfortable with having someone that's white over them because at least it's one of their people telling them what to do. And that's kind of what I've gathered from it. Most black people, on the contrary, will feel more comfortable respecting a non black manager or white manager. Okay, so I don't know if this is because of, coming from slavery, where black people, were taught to be against each other and taught to only obey white people as masters. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but because white managers tend to have more HR and upper management backing. Okay, so basically, I think a lot of black people pretty much know, especially on the work, on the floor, that hey, you better not disrespect that white manager because she or he has more power to get you fired and to take your food and your rent money away from you and your checks, your paycheck. Okay, because they have the backing from HR and management more so, because they're owned by mainly Jews and Caucasians, so they're going to have their back more. So that gives the management the power, especially white management, the power to be able to control the floor better and smoothly. I believe anyway. You can let me know what you think. Therefore, it is known between most black people that they can forfeit their jobs, so they can lose their jobs disrespecting a white manager, basically. I think that's pretty much been kind of taught, you know, to black people. And black employees have more difficulty following black management because, A, black employees may feel they can slack on their job. So, a lot of black people, not all black people, but they may feel if they have a black manager on duty for that shift that they can slack up. They can have their cell phones out. They can do whatever they want to do because, hey, there's another black person like me on duty. That's my manager. And it's not a white person, so I don't have to worry. B, some or most black management doesn't have the proxy power to discipline employees as their white management counterparts. So that's what I was saying before. Even if there's a black manager that has the same skill level and the same title in education as their white management counterpart, they may not be able to discipline the other employees, whether they be black or white, the way they need be on the floor. So I think sometimes less employees take those black management and people in management seriously. So some blacks may see that they can disrespect or show insubordination at the workplace. Because, hey, you can't do anything anyway, right? I'm going to show respect to the white manager because they can get me fired, but I'm not going to show anything to, a black manager because you can't do anything anyway. They're not going to listen to you. Okay, so that's kind of like what seems like goes on sometimes. Just as long as it isn't done to the wrong white manager. And I think that's, you know, um, the mindset of a lot of black people, disrespect the black manager. And as long as you're not disrespecting the wrong white manager, you don't have anything to worry about. Or C, some black employees are more focused that another black person may be higher up on the corporate ladder with the crabs in a barrel mentality, rather than focusing on being happy that another brother or sister is in management. Okay? And what I mean by that is I think some black people, when they're on the work floor or the workplace, they can, be so upset that they could have this, who does this black think she is, he or she is, who do they think they are, versus being happy like other races of people when they're more happier when someone's in management that looks like them. They're like, at least it's one of their own. And I think as black people, a lot of us have a problem with that. That's that crabs in the barrel mentality. Like, everyone deserves respect no matter who, whether you're an employee or a manager. But I think, a lot of black people might feel like, who does this uppity Negro think that they are, he or she is, versus just being happy that someone that looks like them, that's in management, that can relate to them and their needs in the workplace. And instead of asking that black manager, how did you get where you're at? Instead of trying to take what another black person, brother or sister may have. Okay. And another thing is too, like I said, that more black employees need to seek to pursue advancement themselves. Like I said, ask that particular brother or sister, how did they make it to where they're at? What education did they? So this is not how can I take what you have, but how can I get it for myself without destroying someone else? Okay, on the workplace scene. And I also think, regardless if the manager is black or white, they should be respected equally. Okay, so this is not about disrespecting white managers or black managers. This is about equal respect. Black employees shouldn't slack off or feel they don't have to do their work or break company policy just because they have a black manager for a particular shift. And I think sometimes as black people, we can be known for that, in certain positions where we're in like customer service or even restaurant work. When you look in the window and you see there's a lot of black employees behind, you're like, oh my goodness, my food's not going to be right. It's going to be slow. It's going to be messed up. But then sometimes, like if you see a white manager, you're like, okay, things are going to be, upbeat and pepped up and snappy, and it shouldn't be like that. We as black people, need to set a better representation of ourselves, that people aren't just seeing us and thinking like, oh, it's black people on duty. They're going to be slacking. They're not going to be on their A game. And I think also, lastly, because some black people claim that black managers are Uncle Toms or tattletales, are quick to run to tell, but they need to know the difference between a micromanager and someone that has a family and themselves to feed, just like that employee. And I think a lot of times with black people, they'll say, oh, they tried to tell on me. This same black brother or sister, they not looking out for me, but you're not looking out for that black manager by doing your work. And that black manager has a job to do, and part of that job is to make sure that your work is done. Okay, and I don't think a lot of black people are looking at that. Sometimes black people, they need to know the difference between an Uncle Tom, someone that's just trying to gain brownie points from the upper management, and someone that has a job to do and has to feed their children, and if they don't have children, feed themselves just like they have to feed themselves as employees, and that it's a working relationship between the two. And I think too, and their job is predicated, so the manager's job is predicated upon making sure your job is done as the employee. And I don't think black people really look at that sometimes. Not all black people, but some of them. Okay. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you're listening on YouTube, leave a comment down on the in the comment section. What do you think about black people? Do they respect or seem to have a little more respect for white management at times more so than black management. If you're not listening on YouTube and you want to leave me a comment or a suggestion about this topic or any other topic that you may have a question about, you can contact me at thetruthwithtrinity.com. You can also listen to my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.